Hello, beautiful people. It's Lulu. This is episode 50. 50 episodes. I want to sit with that for a moment because it feels really meaningful. Not because 50 is some magic number, but because it represents 50 times I've shown up and pressed record even when I didn't feel ready. Especially when I didn't feel ready. 50 times I've chosen to be vulnerable and serve you in the best way I know how. And I'm not perfect at this. There's still so much I want to do with this podcast. So many ideas I haven't been able to execute yet. Because it's just me doing the research, scripting, the content, the show notes, the social media, the closed captions, all of it. And I still have another job. But here's what I've learned through these 50 episodes. Perfection isn't the point. It never was, and it will never be the point. Showing up is. And today I'd like to reflect on what's become clearer through the practice of just keeping going. Welcome to the Lulu Essey podcast. No editing, no polish, just honest conversations about mental fitness, self-love, and transformation from the inside out. So let's get going on episode 50. And before we do, go on. Give this a share. Please send it to your friends, your family, your colleagues. Just share. It makes a much bigger difference than you realize. Today, we are going to be talking about embracing imperfect action, about what self-love actually means in real life, about the difference between learning from others and comparing yourself to them, and about how to receive recognition with grace. This is going to be a shorter episode. You have been so generous with me as the last few episodes have run slightly long, and I always intend to be respectful of the time you have. And also, sometimes the most powerful reflections do need more time, and sometimes they don't. They just need honesty. So, 50 episodes in, and I still don't have music for my podcast. Let me tell you why that matters and why it doesn't. When I started this podcast, I had a clear vision. I wanted a signature sound, something unmistakably me, something that would signal to listeners, you're about to hear something meaningful. I tried 3 really viable avenues to get music created. 3. And none of them produced results. It was a genuine intention of mine to have music by the time we hit episode 50. I thought, this is a milestone. This is when this podcast should feel polished and complete. Not just for me, but for you too. And that is incredibly important to me. And here I am, episode 50, no music. I've had to, let it be. I've had to watch myself feel disappointed, frustrated, like I'm somehow not doing this right. Because I don't have that one element I thought mattered so much. Something interesting happened. A few weeks ago, I was interviewed by a completely wonderful woman named Antoinette Alou. She has a podcast called She Owns Success, and our conversation is going to be released on November the 10th. During the interview, I mentioned that I still don't have music for my podcast in relation to how I actively embrace imperfect action in my life. And she said to me, I love that you don't have music. I love that I just hear your voice start talking. I heard her, but I didn't really hear her, not at first. It was only literally yesterday, when I was reflecting on episode 50 coming up and still not having music, that her words came back to me. And this time, they landed completely differently. People don't come for the jingle. They come for the content, the honesty. They come for the connection. And this is what embracing imperfect action actually looks like over and over again. It's not just a concept. It's showing up without the thing you thought you needed. It's being flexible with what life brings. It's choosing the better feeling thought. It's also about starting before you feel like you're ready, especially before you feel like you're ready. And it's not about choosing the thought that lets me off the hook, but the thought that allows me to keep moving forward without dragging the weight of I'm not good enough behind me. So no, I don't have music yet. And maybe that's not my path right now. Maybe it will be later, or maybe it won't be at all. And I'm okay with all of that. Because what I do have is this. I have my voice, your trust, and 50 episodes of showing up anyway. And I have you. And I truly do love and appreciate every one of you for showing up and listening when you do. I'd love to talk about self-love because that's at the core of everything I share here. And after 50 episodes, my understanding of what self-love actually means has really deepened and expanded in ways I didn't anticipate. Yesterday, I looked up the definition of self-love in the Oxford English Dictionary, and I was struck by how shallow and unsatisfying it is. It lacked any sense of humanity or connection. It felt so unimportant. It felt the way many people seem to feel about it. A nice to have, but really not essential or foundational to success. The Oxford English Dictionary defines self-love, and I quote, regard for one's own well-being and happiness, chiefly considered as a desirable rather than a narcissistic characteristic. And in the Advanced Learners Dictionary from Oxford University Press, it's defined as the feelings that your own happiness and wishes are important. That's it. That's bloody it. And I sat there thinking, is this really all we have? Is that the depth of what self-love means? Because to me, it goes so much deeper than that. It's not just about regarding your well-being as important. It's about being willing to love the parts of yourself you find utterly unlovable. It's about feeling compassion and love, even when you mess up, even when you do something you wish you'd done better, even when you've hurt someone. It's a very different energy than forgiveness. It's a very different energy than acceptance. Self-acceptance is really important. It's a crucial step on the path, but acceptance and self-love are not the same thing. We can accept things we don't love. We do it all the time. We accept our flaws, our transgressions, but acceptance can still carry a sense of resignation, like, well, this is just how I am. I guess I have to live with it. Self-love doesn't feel like that. Self-love feels more like, this is who I am, and I'm not just okay with it. I genuinely care for myself. I hold myself with tenderness. I'm on my own side. I know I can do better, and I will support myself in that journey without judgment. And this is not narcissism. This is not being blind to when you've really done wrong or being unwilling to grow. That's something completely different. Narcissism is more about needing to be seen as perfect. It's all to do with external validation, and there's always someone who gets hurt in the process. Self-love is about knowing you're not perfect and loving yourself anyway. I'm still working on my own definition of self-love. It's going to take me a minute because it's profoundly important, and I want to get it to a place where it feels good to me and where I feel I can share it with honesty. But here's what I know so far. Self-love is the willingness to be with yourself, all of yourself, with compassion. It's the ability to look at the parts of you that feel messy and broken or shameful and say, I see you and I am not turning away. I'm staying with you. I will hold you and love you through this. That's what I'm learning through this podcast, through 50 episodes of showing up imperfectly, through being vulnerable, through letting you see me as I am, messy and flawed. And I hope that in some small way, it gives you permission to do the same. Allow me to tell you about something I've been navigating, because I think it's one of the most important distinctions we can make when we're trying to grow. There is a huge difference between modeling someone you admire and comparing yourself to them. The first one makes you better. The second one diminishes you. But here's the tricky part. Our natural tendency is to slip from modeling into comparison without even realizing it. I've experienced this with someone in this space whose podcast consistently ranks in the top 5 or 10 at least. I won't name them because that's not the point. The point is the dynamic I'm about to describe to you. At first, I used their trajectory as a model. I'd think, what can I learn here? What are they doing that's working? How can I apply those principles in a way that's authentic to me? That's modeling. That's healthy. That's how we can grow. But then I'd slip into comparison. Why aren't I there yet? What am I doing wrong? Why is my podcast not ranking like theirs? Damn it! And if I'm not really mindful, comparison slides so smoothly and effortlessly into something more insidious. Criticism. I'd start looking for reasons to dismiss their success. Well, they had a really strong background in media and television and radio. Of course they're successful. They've had advantages I don't have. And that criticism? That's just comparison trying to make me feel better by making them smaller. Now, when I catch myself doing that, which takes mindfulness, I have a choice. I can look at their success through the lens of criticism, which keeps me stuck and small, or I can look at it through the lens of love. Love says they have experiences and resources I don't have, and that's okay. I have something different. That doesn't make my path less valid. What can I learn from them while honoring where I am? Love says their success does not diminish mine. There is room for all of us. Love says I can admire someone's work, learn from their strategies, and still stay completely true to my own voice and my own timeline. That's the difference between modeling and comparison. Modeling is generous. It's curious. It asks, what can I learn? Comparison is harsh. It's fearful. It comes from a place of lack, of scarcity. Comparison asks, why am I not enough? And I'm telling you this because I know I'm not the only one who does this. I know you may have done it too. I think perhaps we all have. So next time you find yourself looking at someone else's success, whether it's their podcast, their business, their relationship, their career, their body, whatever, ask yourself, am I modeling or am I comparing? Am I learning or am I diminishing myself? Because one of those paths leads somewhere beautiful and the other one just keeps you stuck. Choose modeling. Choose love. Choose your own path. I'd like to share something with you that I haven't fully acknowledged here on this podcast, and I think it's important that I do. A few weeks ago, I got recognition on Goodpods. For those of you who don't know, Goodpods is a podcast discovery platform where listeners can rate and review shows, and you can find shows. And my podcast was ranked number 36 in the mental health podcasts out of 75. Number 36. And here's the part that made my heart race. There was a humongous celebrity, someone with much of Hollywood in their back pocket, ranked at number 49. And I cannot deny that the external validation of that moment felt incredible. It felt like proof that what I'm doing matters, that my voice is reaching people, that showing up imperfectly for 50 episodes is actually working. Now, I talk a lot on this podcast about not needing external validation. And so I want to clarify something important. I am not saying external validation is bad. I'm not saying we shouldn't care about what people think or that recognition doesn't matter. We are wired for connection. We are wired to want to be seen and valued. External validation is wonderful. It's meaningful, and it's okay to let it feel good. The distinction I'm making is this. I celebrate that recognition. I am so deeply grateful for it, but I do my best not to need it as fuel to keep going. And I do my best not to use it to judge myself. And if my ranking dropped, and it did, if I never got that kind of recognition again, I'm still here. I still show up. I still create because I'm doing this from a place of service, not from a place of needing proof that I'm enough. That's the difference. And living that difference is very hard some days, especially the days where I really crave that external validation intensely. External validation is a beautiful gift when it comes, but it's not the reason I'm here. I'm here because I believe in this work. I believe in you. I believe we can all learn to love ourselves more deeply, to show up more authentically, to live with more courage and more grace and more joy. And whether I'm ranked at number 36 or number 360, my mission doesn't change. So thank you. Thank you to everyone who has listened, rated, reviewed, and shared this podcast. Thank you for walking this path with me. Thank you for trusting me with your time and your attention. That Goodpods recognition was a moment in time. It was a deeply meaningful one. But what matters way more is that you're here, that we're doing this together. And I hope you'll continue to walk this path with me and bring others along with you for as long as it feels right for you. So please continue to listen and continue to share. So here we are, episode 50. What's become clearer through these 50 episodes isn't some grand revelation. It's much simpler than that. Change comes through practice, through consistency, through showing up even when it's far from perfect. Self-love isn't a concept you understand once and then you're done. It's something you practice, something you deepen, something you return to again and again and again. And the difference between learning from others and comparing yourself to them can make or break your journey. I still don't have all the answers. I probably never will. I'm still figuring this out. I still don't have music for my podcast, and I still slip into comparison sometimes. And I still have many moments where I doubt myself. But I'm here. And I'm not going anywhere because this work, this practice of showing up authentically, of loving ourselves more deeply, of choosing courage over comfort, this is the work that matters to me. And I'm so grateful to be doing it with you. Thank you for being here, for listening. Thank you for 50 episodes of trust. And here's to the next 50, to all the imperfect, beautiful growth that's coming. What comes from the heart reaches the heart. And today, like every day, this comes straight from my heart to yours. I look forward to seeing you next week.